Welcome to Walking with J.Beau on this very beautiful, very early spring-like day. I hope you are enjoying the warmer temperatures wherever you may be. On this beautiful March 11th. It is 56 degrees in Maine. This is the warmest it has been for quite some time. It's been a very long, cold winter, colder than normal, and it has been an interesting winter thus far in a lot of different areas. It doesn't mean we're done having snow, because last year we had a snowstorm in the last week of March that was about 2 feet of snow, and then within a week we had another one that was almost 2 feet of snow. First week of April. So anything could happen, but the likelihood is low. Excuse me. This is the pickleball court, which is still thawing out. So I got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about today. Interesting things, I think. And we're going to do about 6 miles. And I'll flip the camera around up ahead at some point. We've not walked this route since last year. So I was waiting for the snow to melt, and it has, so now it'll be safe enough to walk on. Hi. I'll flip this around now. Hi everybody. Your favorite J.Beau here. So, we are going to walk, like I said, well, 6 miles today. I don't think you'll be on camera for all 6. Probably somewhere over 5. And here's the problem I have today. This is a chute cycling jug. Do I want to carry a jug for my walk today? No, not really. Since I'm just starting the walk. So, should I carry it or should I not? It doesn't have a handle. That makes all the difference. I have to hold it like this for 5 or 6 miles. I think what I could do though is take the cap off, put it in my pocket, and then just put my finger in the hole in the top. See, now that works. That I can do. All right, so yes, I did cut my hair short, by the way. See? Compressed a little bit with my hat. But anyway, I was just watching the press conference today at the White House press briefing with Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary. And she was talking about all kinds of things today. She was also debunking a lot of things that the media likes to spread, like calling tariffs a tax on Americans. It is not a tax on Americans. It's not raising taxes on Americans. A tariff is a price charged to another country. The other country pays the tariff, not U.S. taxpayers, okay? This is just fear-mongering that the media likes to do, and it was the AP who has a running spat because they get kicked off of Air Force One for being dicks, basically. So that's fine. The guy who asked her that question, actually, I saw a picture of him today, a little while ago. It doesn't take long for that stuff to get online anymore. And he looks like your typical liberal nut job in the White House press briefing wearing a mask. So that's all you need to know. When you see the mask, you already know who you're dealing with. So anyway, she set him straight on that. A tariff is not a tax on Americans. A tariff can raise the prices of certain products and goods, which the media has called raising a tax on Americans. It's not a tax. Right now, the Democratic Party is using fear-mongering to enrage the public against Trump and Elon Musk. Specifically Elon Musk, because he is canceling their cash cow and their corruption and money laundering in the DC area. Because everything for the government is centralized in Washington, DC, and we need to decentralize that. Which is why Kash Patel wants to distribute the FBI headquarters into being kind of like departmental regional headquarters nationwide, responsible for regions of the country, which would be a much better thing to do. So they're trying to enrage the public, and all they're doing is they're scaring old people who think they're going to lose their Social Security and Medicare. Very irresponsible. So because of that, they better be careful, because the American public is going to learn the truth eventually, like they did before the election when they voted for Trump. And CNN didn't like to see it, but last night they showed the latest poll results, and 77% of the country support cutting government waste. That hasn't changed. So through all of their propaganda and fear-mongering, the public isn't buying it. And they haven't learned their lesson yet. This is a new era for the United States. We're never going backwards. And You know, the Democrats tried to use that slogan during the election, "We're never going back." That should have been our slogan, because we're never going back. Anyway, it's an interesting thing to watch right now, what's going on. There's a lot of very angry, corrupt bureaucrats. And you have to remember, in Washington, D.C., about 90%, 91% of Washington, D.C., maybe even higher, might be like 94%, voted for Kamala Harris. So it is a heavily, heavily, heavily biased city and government. And President Trump is getting rid of most of it, trying to. So the good news today, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, announced that 83%, okay, 83% of U.S. aid, USAID, has been cut, eliminated. $800 and something billion of wasteful spending has been cut just in one program. So that gives you an idea of how ridiculous the government spending has been. It's even worse than people thought it was, and the American public is on board to get rid of it. So unfortunately, they are creating Musk derangement syndrome. They, meaning the Democrats and the media, to now where people are shooting at Tesla dealerships, setting Teslas on fire, and giving death threats to Elon Musk. So the press secretary today, after Tesla lost 45% of its stocks, billions of dollars, is because stock confidence is that a lot of people feel like they're not going to be buying Teslas because of this, what he's doing. So that affects Tesla stock. But here's the thing. The real numbers are 77% of the public supports what he's doing. So this is a product of the media, fear campaigns. All they did was they switched from doing that with Trump, which they're still doing. Now they're adding new people to the cycle and the mix. And Elon Musk is going to have to fight it like Trump did. So Elon Musk is not going to go broke. So, I mean, you got SpaceX and you got all kinds of other stuff. Neuralink is probably going to be his biggest company in the future. Ooh, that hill gets my blood going. So, they're going to keep pushing, and the media's job is to take something that has 10% popularity and make it look like it has 100% popularity. Media's job used to be reporting the news, but they no longer do that, so damn shame. The other number that Democrats didn't like yesterday was the new poll came out, and Trump's approval is 56%. So there you have it. I think Americans have finally figured out that what the media does and what the Democrats are doing. The Democrats are defending wasteful spending. They are blatantly fear-mongering old people and everybody else by lying blatantly, saying that Elon Musk is going after Social Security and Medicare. It's not what he said. He said he's going to cut wasteful spending. Waste, okay? So when somebody tries to argue that with you, just tell them they're going after waste and fraud. There's a lot of Medicare fraud. Every year we read about doctors overbilling Medicare. They get charged for it and they get in trouble. But it's a very, very small amount that they catch. And a lot of the fraud is going on elsewhere with other things that Medicare does, because it's such a big, bloated government system, nobody's keeping track. Until now. Now they're under audit. The two big issues with the Democratic Party, that is a 50-50 issue. Basically what that means is that's all the Democrats have right now to fight with is Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. And the other one is the abortion issue. Democrats are strong in both of those because past Republicans have talked about cutting Social Security, and the Democrats have really weaponized that. So they're trying to say that this is the same Republican Party we've always known, which it isn't. So we have that hill to fight. But we're getting there. So I'm going to turn the camera around for a minute. Freaking hill makes me work. So, looks like they finished their work here. This is that same area that we went through. Where they had all those wood ties laid out here. So they could drive heavy equipment on it. They picked all of those up, it looks like. They threw some straw down so grass regrows. So we were wondering what they were doing and why they did that. Now we know. It's just temporary until they do what they need to do. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, We're going to enjoy our nice mild day walk. Watch out for this truck. Come off to the side here. So I'm damn happy, and we have nice temperatures today. I watch this car. Looks like they don't see me. Young driver. All right, here, this is what we call mud season. You can see that road right here. It's all covered. It's all muddy. Ground's thawing out. That's the 5th season in Maine. Mud season. Well, I'm sweating pretty good right now. And as you saw, I'm just wearing a hoodie over a shirt. Granted, it's 2 layers of shirts underneath. This guy still has the Corvette covered. So I'm just happy to be walking again, now that everything's thawed out. And that really steep incline, that was nothing last year because I had my stamina up, has my heart rate up, higher than it should be, and I'm breathing a little harder than I should be. I'm recovering now, but I'm going to get back into the swing of the stamina, cardiovascular optimization. Everything's a little more difficult at 56. I'll be 57 in July. So it's an important time right now for my health, to be healthy, or as healthy as possible. I actually got sweat on my eyebrows. So anyway, they're demonizing Elon Musk, trying to destroy him and Tesla. And I really hate these people. And I know hate's a strong word, but these people hate America. And anybody that hates America, I hate them. they never talk about fighting for America. They always fight for democracy. And there's a difference there, because we are a republic with democratic processes. We are not a democracy. Europe has a democracy, and it's a mess, a shambles, never to be fixed again, unless they have a revolution of some sort. They have the EU with their firm grip on all these countries, which are now just states. States in a union, which is what the United States have. The difference is they don't have a constitution or a Bill of Rights. They govern all the other states, and those states have elected people in there, which the globalists have funded and heavily support with a biased media, even worse than here, because they don't have a First Amendment. So they can lie to the people. There's no with impunity. So sad state of affairs, that's all I'm saying. So I'm going to flip the camera around here again. Hi folks. Hi everybody. It's out here a little longer. There we go. There we go. Hi folks. I should turn this a little bit this way. And we'll go this way. There we go. So anyway, all the snow is melting very well, actually, which is nice. So I hope you liked the past couple of walks. They were night walks. The first one of the three I did was a little shaky, wasn't very good. The second one I did was good, I thought. And the last one I did, night before last, was very good, I thought. So, anyway, we have all this stuff going on right now with the propaganda. It's not going to work for them. It's just not. You know, the American public is firmly behind these Doge cuts, and that's going to go on full steam ahead. And the Democrats are trying to appear younger and more hip than they used to be. They think if they make some TikTok videos that, you know, they're going to get in and change things. And they're just not getting the fundamentals of it. The reason why the online media for conservatives and independent media worked is because they were an alternate to the mainstream media, and Republicans took advantage of that. And the Democrats, instead of appearing on these independent media podcasts, they don't like to do that because they get confronted with tough questions to answer and they don't know how to answer them, because they're so used to being coddled by the leftist media that they can't answer questions. We saw that with Kamala Harris. All you get is a bunch of word salad. I was watching The View. The View is another one of those far left big, you know, it's a talk show. It's not really a media outlet, but, you know, they had Dylan Mulvaney, the transgender Bud Light girl, on there, and they're all sitting there trying to defend comments that were made about men playing in women's sports, and they couldn't answer any of the questions or topics other than word salad. Because now they know 80% of the public doesn't support it. They don't know how to talk about it. They're trying to defend it and they can't. So they end up spewing word salad. And watching Whoopi Goldberg clip this week, she's trying to defend it. She's trying to say that, you know, trans women in sports are equal to women, and it's not a big deal. Then they always throw in it isn't really a large population of trans people in sports compared to other people, which is true. But here's the thing. If you're allowing a male into female bathrooms and they rape just one woman, isn't that just one woman too many that could have been avoided? So they're trying to excuse a high school girl who played volleyball. She got hit in the head. Now she's partially paralyzed with brain damage. And they're trying to say that's okay because it doesn't represent the majority of what happens. So the logic is ridiculous, and they're on the wrong side of it. And the media right now is going after Elon Musk more than they're going after Trump. So that ought to tell you something right out of the box. Back onto the Elon Musk thing. That he's finding stuff that the Democrats want to keep. They are very mad at him today because yesterday he told the truth. Well, Sunday, on a Sunday afternoon news show on Fox Business News, that the Democrats want this money to fund immigration programs to encourage people to come to the United States illegally, because they believe that'll be the future Democrat voters and they will always have a majority forever and ever and ever, because they want a one-party state. That's what Elon Musk said, and he's right. I've said that, and so have a lot of you, and we all know this. So that's why Democrats are pitching such a fit over this, and that's why the media has focused on Elon Musk more than Trump. They're trying to bankrupt him and ruin him. So don't be surprised if some liberal AG somewhere in some state files lawsuits against Elon Musk, like they did with Trump. So anyway, Caroline Leavitt at the press conference today said that as she was signing off from the press conference, said, maybe you will see President Trump in a Tesla later this afternoon, she said. And she walked off. So I think President Trump is going to do a Tesla promotional tour. And this would be a smart time. Again, I'm not an economic advisor. This would be a smart time to buy some of that Tesla stock that people are selling off while prices have gone down. Because Tesla stock in the future is going to be very valuable. Right now you have a bunch of liberals who owned Tesla stock protesting against Elon Musk by selling their stock. And because you have to remember, a large market of Tesla is liberals. You know, climate change, save the planet, blah, blah, blah. I got a piece of dust in my eyeball that blew in there. It's watering up. We'll get it out. some of the hazards of walking outdoors. So anyway, look how beautiful that is. Everything's melting. I'm going to turn the camera around as I fight with my eyeball again. So this is that field right here. I saw deer in one time in the afternoon. You can see deer tracks out there. I see the deer tracks. Happy to be wearing my Reeboks again instead of boots. Very happy about that. A lot of automotive drama today. I don't know if you noticed that or not. If you've been on enough walks with me, typically you don't see cars virtually stop in the lane while they're going by me. That's happened a few times already. Very strange. Don't know what's behind that. Nice out there today. Keep my eye on this hill crest up here. I don't hear any cars. One coming up behind me. I use my ears a lot while I'm walking for safety, and that's why I don't listen to music when I walk. I listen to enough music at home with vinyl LPs, so I am happy that everything is thawing out. Across the street up here. We'll cross the road. So the other thing I'm going to talk about for a minute is these tariffs and the stock market panic. It's temporary. A lot of people are worrying about recession. Don't worry about recession. It's not going to happen. Right now, this is initial market panic on small traders, is what they're called. The people that make the stock market run are not panicking. It's the small-time investor, you know, people that go to investment websites and they buy a few stock. It's panic selling and panic buying caused by the media and Democrats. We're not going to have a recession. When you start seeing things like Walmart and places like that doing massive layoffs because the economy is tanking and they're losing stock value, then you should worry about it. But the big companies are actually investing and they're standing firm because they understand what this means. This is going to be better for American businesses. Most good businesses operate long term. I explained that the other day. You own a business, you're not interested in how much money you're going to make next month. You're interested in how much you're going to be making 5 years from now or 10 years from now. So you do long-term investments. The new tariff policies is long-term investment for the United States economy, and deregulation, lower energy costs, and tax cuts are going to get this country booming again. And we will be. So we'll be okay. And for those of you watching that you don't know, I'm a college graduate. A lot of the my main interest was business, economics, two separate things, business and economics, and learned how to do stocks, stock trades, stock value, bonds, and things like that. So this is a long-term investment in the United States. It is a very, looks like somebody had fun in their yard with a ATV or a four-wheel drive. That looks like fun. Anyway, Secretary Lutkin, who is the one that is really organizing these tariffs and everything, says we're not going to have a recession. And we're going to see short-term pain for long-time gain. That is the theme they're going with, and this is currently a restructuring of the entire economy for the United States, the largest economy in the world. And it cannot be done without some pain. Reason being is we're going from a country that relies on the government with a lot of government spending to massive cuts in government spending and more private sector investment. So we're getting companies to come to the United States who, if they build a factory here, are not going to be tariffed. That automatically gives them the advantage for world trade, and they will still profit very well, even though they're going to be paying American workers more money, because that's how bad the deficit is right now. So you're going to have American workers making money in the United States from companies in America like we used to have, and we're going to build that middle class back that was destroyed by globalist policies, which started under Bill Clinton. and we're seeing the result now. 40% of the car industry we used to have is all we have left, and it's going to get worse, not better. So Detroit used to be the richest city in the world, and now it's a crap hole full of crime, drugs, poverty. It's been ruined. Baltimore, it's another city. Chicago, Boston, New York City. It's an endless list, and we need to make America great again, and that's what we're doing. So just hang in there. Got good news to report for you today. Egg prices have dropped almost $2 a carton, just because Trump changed the policies for poultry producers, and that is a massive drop very quickly. I haven't gone on the Walmart website or the other supermarkets to verify that locally here, but that's the national news today. $1.85 on average nationally, eggs have dropped per dozen. So that's what common sense does. We'll be okay, folks. Just don't let the media panic you, okay? We've got people that know what they're doing in charge. The adults are in charge, and all we're doing is we're taking 2 used cars that we're making payments on, getting rid of both of those cars, cleaning those loans off the slate, and then buying a new car that is actually less of a payment than buying 2. And for a little while we'll use 1 vehicle instead of 2, and then later on we'll be able to buy 3. Okay, that's basically the idea. You should look at it. Credit card debt is 63% of has gone up 63% under Biden of defaulted payments on credit cards. So that's bad credit for people, and we need to clean that up, and we're going to do that. So I'm going to turn the camera around. So be patient and give it a little time. And what constitutes a recession is 2 full quarters, which is half a year of decline. And we haven't seen that. I don't think we're going to see that. Because in that time, energy prices are going to be going down. Some prices of foods are going to start going down. And it's going to be going down because the business atmosphere has changed. It's going to cost companies less to operate. And that's very important to keep that in mind. That's why I kept pounding that into my walks, that this is a multi-pronged attack on everything that has been done to this country. Doing it all at one time, it's a big ask. It's a lot to do. Changing a giant economy like the American economy is not an easy thing to do. It's not something that's done quickly or easily. But they're doing a good job so far. I've looked at some of the numbers, and the American public is still on board. The uncertainty is caused by the tariffs. So the Trump administration has big support for cutting government waste, but the support is almost 50-50 on the tariff idea. A lot of people are waiting to see what happens, and I can tell you right now, when the price of things start going up a little bit because of tariffs, you're going to see the approval for Trump's tariffs go down, but he's not going to stop doing it. because later on everybody's going to be happy. But this is very important for midterms next year with elections. And Trump has to produce something positive. Egg prices coming down is a good start. Joe Biden's administration thought it was a good idea to slaughter millions of birds. And that's why egg prices went up. That was the main driver of that. So we have smart people in charge now. The other big scandal that's brewing is it's starting to look like Biden's administration was using auto writers. It's a writer that copies signatures. They were copying Joe Biden's signature and signing pardons and probably executive orders and official actions without Biden even knowing about it. And I would assume probably Jill Biden probably signed off on that. That is really starting to pick up steam. Okay, right now, I don't want to spread misinformation, so it has not been verified, but that is what a source says, a leak that has been talking with Republicans. So we will see what happens with that. If that turns out to be true, and so far, the signatures on file are almost all identical, like you would get with an auto writer. So, got to get people under oath to testify that Biden was fully aware for each one of those signatures and gave them permission to do that. And even if they did, that should be illegal. And that would mean everything Biden signed is unofficial now because the president didn't sign it with his knowing it, being rubber stamped by his staff. We can't be having that. I mean, seriously, right? No, we can't be having that. We can't be having unelected bureaucrats in the White House and staff signing official documents and stuff with the president's signature. And, you know, that raises questions about what was Biden's cognitive health. Probably really bad. So, also don't be surprised if you hear in the news, you know, that Biden is incapacitated, full-blown dementia, or even that he passed away. Because, you know, realistically his age and his health is not good, and his days are almost done. So anyway, I'm having a nice walk today. I enjoy talking with you guys. It's very nice to be on this road again for the first time since last year. Now that the snow has melted enough, you know, if you look at the snow on the edge of the road, that was actually about a foot and a half onto the road, made for a very narrow road. And they don't do snow removal out here, so during the year. So where I'm walking right now on the side of the road did not exist last month. I just hit 3 miles according to the app lady in my ear. So we got a lot of stuff That's going to be going on. And you have to remember, Trump's been in office, what, almost 7 weeks? Coming up on a couple of months. A lot's getting done. Now the Republicans are trying to pass a continuing resolution, a CR bill, it's called, keep the government funded. And we got about 6 Republicans that are going to be assholes, cause problems. And Thomas Massie of Kentucky is one of them. I guess Trump really laid into him today. Thomas Massie has been a Trump supporter. He's been very Second Amendment. He's extremely constitutional, but to the point of actually what he does is he grandstands. He soapboxes. He likes to take issues and then create controversy, and he uses it for fundraising. And I've mentioned that before on here. A lot of congressmen and congresswomen do that. But now's not the time to do it. We need that continuing resolution because the Democrat plan is to shut down the government and blame the Republicans. They think that is a good political strategy to hurt Americans, to get back at Republicans. And we have a very slim House majority, the slimmest in 150 years. And now is not the time to be soapboxing to fundraise. So Trump really laid into him today on Truth Social and said it's time to primary Thomas Massie in Kentucky and get a Republican in there that's not going to grandstand. So he's trying to downplay it online, Thomas Massie, by saying that he supports the tariffs with Canada. Canada is going to cave in, but then he goes, but I'm not going to. So he's making a mistake. That's pretty obvious. This is the guy that a lot of Republicans that supported Trump wanted to see made House Speaker instead of Johnson. And I was like, are you guys freaking crazy? Can you imagine him as a House Speaker? Things would be a mess right now. Lake and Riley bill wouldn't have been passed. Nothing would have gotten done. You know, that's the old Republican Party. It's gone. So Thomas Massie is going to get on board, or he's going to get out of the way, and he'll be removed in a primary. And the voters of Kentucky and his district are very Republican. They will vote for his replacement. Trump is very popular in Kentucky. So a public tongue lashing from Daddy in the White House hopefully will set a fire under his ass, and he'll cut the bullshit. We need a party that's united for a cause. You got to fund the government. And yeah, I know, a government shutdown, heavily politicized by the media and Democrats usually the most. It's not as serious as people think it is. The government always works out a solution because you have to. And then these people that weren't paid get their back pay. So people will get their money. People aren't going to be screwed over. It's just another old-fashioned tactic that's used in DC. Politicking. So now the other thing I'm going to talk about is Ukraine and Russia. Now, there was well over 100 drones launched at Moscow overnight and yesterday. Drones hitting apartment buildings in Moscow. That's Moscow, the capital of Russia, okay? That would be the equivalent of an enemy launching drone attacks in Washington, D.C. I think Putin is showing remarkable restraint. And yes, okay, here's the argument I always get. All right, well, you're Putin's lapdog. You're licking his boots. No. Putin's a son of a bitch, okay? He's not to be trusted. He invaded Ukraine, started this. But technically, Ukraine started this back with Crimea. I explained that on one of my walks. By violating treaty that was agreed upon by NATO when the Cold War ended, that if a sovereign province was unable to govern itself, it would be annexed back to Russia, and that was Crimea. Then Ukraine said, no, you can't have it. There's another person slowing down. Why are you guys doing that? These guys never slow down like that all year. They just go around the middle of the road, or they just drive by. Now they're stopping in the road. Very strange. Anyway, Ukraine are the bad guys. Russia is the bad guys. The United States was the bad guys with Biden. NATO is the bad guys. UN is the bad guys. There's no good guys in this, except now Trump is the good guy. He's the only one that wants peace. So while peace talks are going on, Ukraine's launching drones in Moscow. That's why I'm upset about it. We're trying to get peace done. It's almost like Zelensky doesn't want peace, which he doesn't. He wants to suck us into World War III and put troops in Ukraine to fight for him. Hello. That time of year, spring cleaning. It's nice. So, we have a lot of this stuff going on. Things are kind of chaotic and hectic. If you watch the regular media, just don't do that. Just don't. Everything on there is angled, toxic, creating fear and anger. The Democrats right now are trying to enrage the public against Doge, and it's not working. So Democrats are going to get backlash for that. You know, they got backlash for calling Trump an orange Hitler. I mean, people just don't believe that over-the-top rhetoric like that. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you see a beautiful snowy field. As we hit 3.5 miles. We're at 3.5 miles. Should see some maple syrup buckets up ahead. I saw them last year, and we saw them a few miles that way, several miles that way actually, where we walked the last time. There's my beautiful field. Here we have the maple syrup buckets. See that? Got the all the maple syrup buckets out. How cool is that? nice shot. Maple syrup buckets. Whole cluster on that tree. Maple syrup buckets. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Last year was all these trees had buckets. Let's see if they get some this year, because I didn't see buckets across the street like that last year. So now last year all these trees right here had buckets. Now they're all across the street. So there's no buckets on these. So maybe they decided to talk to the people across the street. Maybe they're getting paid to have buckets put on their trees. Don't know. Very interesting. Absolutely gorgeous day today. Very happy that I walked. We're going to watch all the leaves come in the spring. We'll see the little buds on the trees come out. We'll see the grass grow. We'll see everything wake up and come back to life. The rest of that snow is still hanging on there. It's below freezing at night still. But 56 today is really nice. So the other thing I want to talk about real quick is Canada. And Canada's not going to go without a fight, but they're not going to win at Terrafor. And I think they're playing chicken right now. And they're about to figure out that maybe they shouldn't be doing that at the moment. And the reason why I say that is the Prime Minister of Canada, Ford, from the Ford family, by the way, Ford Automotive Company. The Premier says that they're going to raise the cost of exporting electricity to the United States by 25%, which completely pissed Trump off today. And Trump's going to retaliate against Canada, and I think Canada just made a big mistake. They're not getting the fact that they're not going to win a tariff war with the United States. They're just not. The real problem for Canada is they've been sucking off the United States economy for decades, and that's not going to happen anymore. We want fair trade. They'll have fair trade. They're not going to have unbalanced in their favor trade that they have been used to. So they are going to cave in once they start looking at the numbers and the projections, and they see that Trump's not backing down. This is the new policy for the United States. It's done. Trump said April 2nd, tariffs are going to kick in for all countries in the world. All of them. They're all going to be reciprocal. India has some things they charge a 200+% tariff on, and we're going to reciprocate. So this is a big deal. India has 200+% tariffs on some things, and besides China, they're the largest economy in the world. It's basically the United States, China, and India. That's the three big economies, and that's population. India has a lot of people. So it's going to be tougher with them. Prime Minister Modi likes Trump though, so I think they'll work things out. Canada's having an election year, which is really what's causing their problems. So if, for example, Canada caves on the tariffs, the Liberal Party is going to look weak to voters. So this is going to be very interesting. The Liberal Party was in the toilet with voters before the tariffs came along. Justin Trudeau had to step down, and they nominated a guy, Mark Carney. Mark Carney is a former central banker, globalist, WEF member. Central banking is what has bankrupted these countries, and he is a globalist. Public enemy number one to what's been destroying Europe. So that mentality, you know what I mean? So he is now the head of the Liberal Party in Canada instead of Trudeau, and they're going to have elections coming up. And unfortunately, Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative in Canada, instead of supporting what Trump's doing and blaming Trudeau and the Liberals for the damage that's been done economically, he has been bad-mouthing Trump. Because 50% of the Conservative Party in Canada aren't really conservative. So there's your problem. They have a bigger rhino Republican and name-only infestation, Canada's version, that is much, much bigger than ours. So that's why the Conservatives are going to lose in Canada, because their Conservative Party is weak, no backbone, no policy. All they had to do was come out and say that transgenderism, men playing in women's sports, and minors being transitioned was an abomination, and that immigration is destroying our country. That's all they had to do. And they're afraid to do that. So What are they running on? Were they running on "We hate Trudeau"? Stupid, you know. Canadians, I love you guys, but you guys don't have your shit together, and you're not going to win. You're not going to change things that way. So I'm predicting it here. The Liberal Party is going to win because they have several parties that run an election. They're going to siphon off some votes, and the Conservatives aren't going to have enough votes. That's what's going to happen. So Trudeau was Prime Minister of Canada for 10 years. It seems a lot longer than that. And I feel sorry for Canada. Because now you're going to have to rely on Liberals after you've lost this trade war, which you are going to lose. So Canadian pride is not going to win this for you. Common sense will. Right? So, very sorry to say it, but Canada is doomed. I'm really sorry. We really love you guys. We really do. But like I said on a previous walk, we can't afford this anymore. It's unsustainable. And I'm sorry this has to happen, but quite possibly Canada's economy will collapse. The dollar will collapse. And that's why Trump keeps talking about Canada being the 51st state, because don't think that's crazy, because that could happen. And I do believe we're going to acquire Greenland also, because that's a national security issue for the United States and Canada. So we need to have the entire continent of North America on board with each other for world defense. Because times have changed. War is different now. And it's just something we have to do. So the other good news I wanted to report is the United States has taken control of 2 international ports, Panama Canal on each side. So now the United States has 90% stake. I would have liked to have seen another company besides BlackRock do it. Don't even want to get into that. But now both of those ports aren't controlled by China anymore. They're controlled by the United States, who paid $22.8 billion for a 90% stake. And you know, BlackRock had the money. It's one of those things. Right? I gotta watch these cars coming here. My feet are getting wet. Snow melt. See all that water running behind me? I just had to walk in that because cars were going by. It's all snow melt. It's melting! So we did get a vegetable chute cycling jug out of the deal today. It was windy and cold on range day, so we didn't bring anything to shoot. Next weekend though, next range day next weekend is going to be in the 50s according to the forecast. So it'll be a day much like today. After we froze our can off all winter, there was actually some range days we didn't even go, you know, because it was windy and 10 degrees out. We don't like to go shooting under 20 degrees. It's not a fun thing to do. Fingers freeze, and you gotta shoot with gloves on. You gotta find a thin pair of gloves that you can actually put in the trigger guard without accidentally firing the gun. And it has its adversity moments. That's why it's always important to have your firearm pointed either at the ground, away from people. So if you're in between somebody and don't point your gun at the ground in between you and somebody else, you point it off to the side. Always get in that habit of never having your firearm pointed towards anybody, even if it's at the ground. And have your firearm safely pointed downrange when you load. When you rack around in there, make sure you're pointed downrange as often as possible. So if you do have an accidental discharge, which could be anything from a trigger malfunctioning, that could very well happen too. So, you know, this stuff's really melting today. So I'm going to be signing off up ahead here, just under 5 miles. I still got a ways to go, but I'll sign off up ahead. Hello everybody. Had to put in a new battery. So anyway, what I was saying is I'm going to sign off up ahead here. I still have a way to go, but I figure I got enough stuff for a good walk today. Saw maple syrup buckets again. Talked about a lot of cool stuff. And I'm sure there'll be about 5 things I wanted to talk about I didn't think of after the walk's over. But anyway, thanks for walking with me, friends. And click like and subscribe. Say a prayer to the Lord. God bless you and your family. Say a prayer for President Trump and the United States of America. And we will see you on the next walk. Goodbye, friends. Talk to you later. Have a beautiful week. Bye-bye now.